Welcome my friend, Seven Gray here. I hope you find this video interesting because, well, sometimes oftentimes I try to read your comments to the video, which you can make below. And my last video had over 100 comments, and a lot of them were helpful, a lot of them were encouraging, and a few were discouraging. So I decided to title this video based on one of these comments. Let me read this to you. So Rob writes, how do you always manage to buy lemon vehicles with so many problems? So I decided to do a video dedicated to exactly this question. Interestingly enough, in counter to that comment, just right next to it is another comment by Rusty Zipper. Looks like a decent truck with typical problems that come with buying any used vehicle, but at least it's a Cummins. I love all the comments about yada yada, and then he goes on. But anyway, so I want to talk about these two comments. Let's roll the intro and then I'll get into it. I'm parked right outside of one of my rental properties here. You can see this sign up here where they're going to be putting the building permits. A tenant drove a car right into the front of the house, crushing in this brick wall behind me. So about $20,000 worth of damage. Contractors are coming in to repair that. So I'm parked right in front of here with the step van. And on the other side over here is the new truck that I just purchased, which is the topic of today's video. This truck is a 1997 Dodge Ram pickup truck with the Cummins diesel in it, as dually tires on the back. And as you can see from the outside, it looks pretty darn good. So there's two parts that I want to address in this comment here of why I would buy a lemon vehicle, why I continue to buy lemon vehicles. And I guess one is the lemon part and the other is why I choose the vehicles. And I see those as two distinctive different aspects to the comment by Rob. First, what is the definition of a lemon vehicle? Well, I guess that should be obvious in that a vehicle has so many deficiencies, so many faults, requires so much repair that it is no longer really worth it for the dollars put into it to repair the vehicle. I guess that's a common definition for a lemon vehicle. So is this a lemon vehicle or is it not? As you can see, I have the hood open here. I've owned this vehicle for a couple weeks now and had time to drive it around, had a couple of mechanics look at it. So I have a good grasp of the basics, at least what I know during the first few weeks of what needs to be done to this vehicle. Let me go through and list all of those items. So I've already done some of the repairs here. One was I bought a new battery. The battery that was in this side, one of the posts of the battery had come disconnected from the interior of the battery. And I think that's because they were removing the cable on and off so often. It was this negative terminal here. As you notice, I don't have a cable on the negative terminal, which is part of the other issue. There's a parasitic drain on the battery here. So the way you get around that is you remove the negative ground terminal so that it doesn't drain the battery till you figure out what's going on. I've not figured out what's going on where it is. It's just a matter of time, but it is hard on the batteries. That battery over there is fine. It has about 85% capacity according to the auto dealership. And this one here is brand new. So I'm out $80 for a new battery. Item number two, I've got oil leaks. I had one mechanic say that it takes about 5 days in the shop and about $5,000 to fix all the oil leaks on this. I called up Badge. I was like, I've got to sell this vehicle. It's a terrible vehicle. Badge is like, that mechanic is blowing smoke. He's trying to make money from you. Oil leaks are not a big deal, especially for a vehicle from 1997. He's like, which one would you rather do? Put, a couple of dollars for a quart of oil in it once every 2 weeks, or $5,000 into the vehicle? And he said, really, it's no big deal. You just put something underneath it if you're parking in somebody's driveway or in a garage or something like that. And it's par for the course. It's not a problem. And mechanics make that into a big problem. And after thinking about that, I think he's right. Eventually, I'll track down each of these oil leaks and fix them as I'm doing other things, but I've decided that that is not really a concern at all. In fact, in the couple of weeks that I've owned this, I've not had to add any oil. I can see it's still dripping a little bit underneath, but I've not had to add any oil in it, and I've driven it several hundred miles. Another issue is that I need new shocks down here. So it is running really, really bouncy. As you hit any sort of little bump, everything just vibrates and vibrates and vibrates. So not a big deal. It's just a matter of buying shocks, getting them installed. Shocks cost about $200 for 4 shocks for this particular model. On the Pro side, I've got good tires and really new rims here, and the body panels on this are absolutely fabulous. In fact, the truck overall is in really remarkable condition for the age, cosmetically, with the exception of the plastic on the interior of the cab, which I'm told for all of the 1990s models just is horrific in any model out there. They just are shattered, broken, falling apart, and this one is not in great condition either. And the last thing that I'm aware of that needs to be done is I need new motor mounts. So that also, according to Badge and Steve, is a really minor thing. They tell me that I probably could do it myself, that it's just a couple of bolts, $40 or $50 for each of the motor mounts to install those. So not concerned about that. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty decent on this as far as I know. I probably have about $1,000 total in repairs if I were to pay mechanics to do all of that work for me, which is not unreasonable. I do feel like the guy selling it really didn't disclose everything that's going on here. So why did I buy that particular truck? Well, there's 2 reasons. One, I wanted to get a dually 1-ton that could tow any trailer that I wanted, whether it's a big tiny house that I would build or whether it's something smaller. So that's why I went for a dually. Now, as far as why I went for that particular year and model, it's because of the engine inside of it. This has the Cummins 12-valve 6BT engine. That was manufactured from about 89 through about 98 for Dodge. And it's available in a number of other industrial uses, including the step van that I'm sitting in right now. So I'm familiar with this engine from the past, and I wanted to buy it again. So I had that window 89 through 98, and I wanted to move towards the Dodge pickup trucks as a tow vehicle with this same engine. So that's why I narrowed it into this particular vehicle. This had great cosmetic condition. The frame was in great condition, no rust. Engine is in reasonable condition for the year. It just needs a few things that have been neglected to get it back up to speed. So these particular Cummins engines are highly, highly sought after by the diesel community for ramping them up in their power. So the particular engine had what's called a P-pump, which is nothing to do with urine. This is a fuel pump on the engine, and it's very, very easy to crank that up and inject a lot more fuel into this engine. And this particular engine, the 6BT, was known for being very robust. So it's extremely overpowered for the application inside of a pickup truck. It's really manufactured to run things like buses and large industrial vehicles and construction equipment and things like that. So by just adjusting this valve, you can get a lot more horsepower out of the engine, and it's been toned down, really turned down for use with the pickup truck. At least this is what I've read online and what I understand. So that's one of the aspects of the 6BT. The other is that this particular engine is very, very simple and easy to work on. So hot rod people, people that are modifying vehicles, doing crazy fun things with them, love this particular engine. It's considered the million-mile engine among the fans of Cummins engines, and it's not unknown for these things to go a million miles before they need to be rebuilt. So they're very, very robust engines, very simple and very easy to modify and ramp up. So those were all the reasons that I sought after this particular vehicle. And so when you ask why I bought a Lemon, well, because it had this really amazing engine in it and it was in pretty good repair. These are highly sought after in the diesel community, and I wanted this. I'm familiar with it, and I wanted to get it again. They're also very popular for converting over to waste oil, like vegetable oil, veggie oil engine conversions. So this particular engine is very, very tolerant of fuel going into it, so you can put veggie oil, waste vegetable oil into it and get it to run off of it with very little extra effort outside of getting the equipment installed. So originally I was thinking that I would do that with the step van. Maybe at some point I will do it with the truck, although it's getting harder and harder to get waste vegetable oil. So anyway, that is why I chose that particular vehicle. I don't really feel like the number of repairs are that great. Yes, there are some repairs that need to be made, and I don't feel like the guy disclosed really everything that he probably could have to me, and I probably should have taken it to a mechanic to have them look at it. I guess I'm a nice guy. The guy was a mechanic selling it to me. I thought it would be pretty big insult to take it from one mechanic who's selling it to another mechanic, and I thought that my knowledge of mechanics is not great but sufficient enough to make the purchase. I didn't catch some of the things that I listed before. I didn't realize that the shocks were bad or that it needed motor mounts. I've never dealt with that before, but such is life. You make decisions, and so I'm just going to move forward. I've been consulting with Badge, I've been consulting with Steve, and I've been reading your comments, and I think I can work through this, and I think ultimately this will be a good solid vehicle and give me many years of use in the future. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to write some more comments down below. I imagine they'll be mixed like the last time, where some of them are supportive and like, yeah, you're right, spot on, and others are, you're an idiot for buying that vehicle and it's going to be a lot of headaches and pain in your neck. So anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Savor the moment, and I'll see you in a future episode.